Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today we just got done watching episode 3 of Skeletoncrew, and yeah, I just gotta say, I'm really appreciating this show. Like I was kind of worried that they're gonna drag out certain things, and they did not. It continues to be a really fun show with smarter characters than I was expecting them to be. I thought they were gonna drag out this whole like, oh, he's Captain Silvo, he's actually a pirate, he's actually a scoundrel, and the kids are gonna think he's a Jedi for a long time, and it's gonna be like this big reveal. And they're not dragging that out, right? Like, to the audience, they directly, like, they have pirates being like, oh, Captain Silvo escaped, so like they're directly letting us know that yes, that's him. And also they even address certain things that I've heard people in real life ask, like how do we know he was really using the Force? What if he was using magnets? What if he was using string? What if he was like the kids are speculating, they're suspicious of this guy, they don't trust him. But of course, I still need to learn all their names. The main kid who believes in the Jedi, of course, he's like fully in. He's fully invested. He's like, no, he's a Jedi. We can trust him. He's a good person because that's what Jedi are, and that's what Jedi do. And it kind of, obviously, it has like that childhood like optimism, of like, you read all these stories of the Jedi and you want to believe that this is who they are, so you immediately trust this complete stranger. But everyone else is kind of like, no, we're gonna be more suspicious of this guy because we're not as into all this Jedi stuff as this kid is. But like, here's the thing, he seems to legitimately be using the Force. Like, I know they brought up the magnets and the strings, and I saw people on social media being like, how do we know he wasn't just using some kind of trick? But it definitely seems to be a real thing. It does not seem to be some kind of parlor trick that he's pulling on people. He seems to legitimately be using the Force. But he even says, I never actually claimed I was a Jedi. So all the kids and him, they escape from the little port that they were at, the pirate port, and they go to what he calls some old friend that he knows, and it's Bird Lady. I don't remember her name. But Bird Lady is like an expert on astrological navigation, and she has all these star charts everywhere, and so we learn a lot more about Ad-Atten and what's going on here. And it's kind of stuff that we had speculated on about, like, okay, this is a really closed off planet, they don't know about anything that's happened in the last who knows how long. They even like mentioned Alderaan for a second. They're like, oh, Alderaan, oh, you missed the war, did you? So they're like, what war? So these kids do not know anything about the Empire, about the Order 66, all that stuff, right? Which kind of explains why our main kid here is so like believing the Jedis, because to him, he thinks there's probably Jedi all over the place, right? Because last time this planet was open to the galaxy, there were Jedi everywhere. So, like, yeah, to him, that's what he thinks the universe is. So, makes sense. But we do get a little bit more information about Ad-Atten from the parents' perspective also, because they're all gathering around, they're trying to figure out what's going on. And they're trying to like, no, the security droids are gonna solve everything. They're gonna be able to find the kids. Everything's gonna be fine. Which, kind of tells you a little bit about how secluded these people really are. Like, they think that these security droids are going to be able to find where the kids went, and they're demanding to see the administrator or whatever, like, and we still don't know who that is. So there's still, a kind of a Wizard of Oz type character pulling the strings from the background of this place. Like, we don't, who's actually in charge here? Is it going to be a big reveal, or is it going to, something sinister is going on this planet? It's clear that even the adults here are not privy to all the information, so how much do they know about the outer universe and galaxy? Like, it's not clear. It seems like even they don't know what's happening. They don't know that there was an empire, and then the empire was defeated, and there's now a new republic, which makes it even more interesting when they're talking about like, oh, well, let's just call the Republic. And then the droids are like, no one's allowed to talk outside the planet, no one's allowed to leave the planet, so like, and that kind of begs even more of a question of like, well, how did they think that they were going to be able to contact the Republic if it's illegal to even contact outside of the barrier, right? So it's like, oh, they're really shut off. Like, whoever it is, whoever this administrator is that's pulling the strings, whatever is actually happening here, they have like this entire population, this planet-wide population, just on lockdown, which is crazy. You know, and the kids even ask, like, oh yeah, my dad's an analyst and your dad's some kind of administrator, and we're all like analysts of something. And then it's like, wait, what do we analyze? And they kind of look at their money and they're like, something about money, right? You know, and then they kind of remember, like, oh wait, yeah, everyone was freaking out about our money, so maybe that is the treasure on Adatin. Maybe it really is just as simple as their everyday currency is insanely rare, and so everyone else would consider that treasure, whereas to them it's just like a normal dollar bill, you know? So it could be as simple as that, as to like what's going on with this whole treasure thing. Or maybe other people I've seen speculate that there is a mine, that this is some kind of mineral rich planet that is able to mine a bunch of resources and everyone wants it or something, you know. So there's a lot of different ways that this could go. I'm still kind of leaning towards this ship itself has some part of it that has something on it, because remember, at some point a long time ago, this ship crashed onto the planet, and it's been there so long that it was buried underneath a bunch of, you know, land that just kind of grew on top of it. So like, I don't know, something more is up with this ship that they're on. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so yeah, they go to this they call him she's calling him Crimson Jack, the bird lady. So we have another name. So we have Captain Silvo, we have, what's he call himself, John Joe just something, and now he's called Crimson Jack. So he has all these different names that people know him by, which kind of makes me feel like, oh, this guy is such a con man that he just makes up a new pirate name and gets a new crew. So at some point he was Crimson Jack, and then at a different point he was Captain Silvo, and those are just two different pirate personas that he's put on in order to kind of just con artist his way throughout the galaxy. That seems to be kind of what's happening here. I don't know. But she calls in the cavalry to like arrest this guy and help the kids, but of course he's like, oh no, look, those are her thugs, her you know, her minions, right? But we know that they're X-wings, but the kids don't know that. The kids don't know what an X-wing is, you know. So it's kind of funny that like he's definitely tricking them in several ways, and even though they're kind of onto him and they demand the truth and they're like, what's happening, who are you, we know you're not who you say you are, but they end up leaving with him anyways, because he's still the one who wants to actually find their home. Even though they know now, like, he kind of just wants a reward, he wants some money, he wants whatever the treasure is. They're still like, yeah, but we want to get home, and he wants to get home, so let's do this, you know? So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. There's like so many layers to this, because of course we as an audience, we know what an X-wing is. We know that the bird lady was obviously with the good guys, because she was willing to call in X-wings to come arrest this guy like immediately upon seeing him. And so we're like, oh yeah, this is this is a criminal that like the New Republic would be trying to come after. But these kids have no way of knowing about any of this, so it's kind of funny. So yeah, just really interesting stuff. We're dealing with both the kids and the adults, who both seem to have limited information onto what's really happening, what's really going on Adatin, who is this administrator, and also like, you know, what's going on with this Jedi guy who's obviously not a Jedi. And we don't quite get the backstory. I'm still kind of leaning towards maybe he was a youngling at some point, but also, I don't know, the possibility of him simply being someone who was force sensitive, practiced a bunch, you know, like he just kind of grew up and he figured out like, oh, I can kind of do some things, let me practice, and then he decided, I'm gonna be a criminal. You know, like that seems like an equal possibility here. But yeah, just the show continues to kind of unravel these little mysteries that we have going on here, and I'm enjoying the ride. I really love the dynamics of everything. I love that they have SM-33, who's kind of like, he's still following the orders of the kids and he's protecting them against this Jedi, and or not Crimson Jack. I'm gonna call him Crimson Jack. I don't remember. He called himself Joe something. He's got several names. I'm gonna call him Crimson Jack or Captain Silvo or whatever. But I love that we have like the droid kind of standing up against him, because the droid knows like, oh yeah, Jedi, yeah, you looking for anything around here? So the droid's suspicious of him, but also he probably knows that he's a pirate, because they have that little like, oh, I don't know, these kids are from somewhere, and so now part of me is even questioning like, maybe this droid is also like, he's a pirate droid. So maybe he even kind of knows like, oh, these kids said they're from At-Aten. I'm gonna work for them, but also I'm still a pirate. I'm gonna try and find this treasure. Because the way he was kind of telling him like, well, I'll tell you this, they're from somewhere, So I'm like, this droid might not even be fully on the up and up. I don't know. So I don't know. It's kind of riding that line of like the droid and Captain Silvo here. They're both can't be fully trusted, but also like they're the kid's best shot of getting home right now. But it's like, are either of them gonna flip and become actual villains, or are they gonna stay on this like, oh yeah, we're scoundrels with a heart of gold, like we want treasure because we're pirates, but also, yeah, we'll help you out, we're gonna be nice about it. Or are they gonna fully betray these kids at some point? I don't know. But either way, I'm just really enjoying the show. It's really well done. I'm curious to see, like, they called it X-Wings, New Republic stuff. I'm curious to see if they're gonna figure out where the kids went, because the bird lady was like typing all this stuff in, and she used these, they're like, oh, old Republic hieroglyphs. We're able to like narrow all this stuff down and kind of find directions to At-Aten. So they have this chip, and they put it in the ship, and they blast it off into hyperspace. Now, are they actually going to At-Aten directly, or are they just kind of going somewhere in the vicinity? I don't know. It really depends on like how much she was able to narrow it down, but they're going somewhere. So either way, I can't wait till next week. I'm really invested in this show already. It's fun. It's got a really cool mystery to it, and I actually appreciate how, it's still really self-contained, but it's also giving us like this different perspective on this franchise that we know so well, because we're coming at this from people who, they don't know everything that we know, but also they know some things that we don't know, like they're all their information is from the old Republic and all this stuff that doesn't exist anymore, and this planet that's been hidden. So like, they don't know what an X-Wing is, they don't know about the war, they don't know that the Jedi are mostly gone, and yet there's a bunch of mystery about their planet that even they don't know all of it. So yeah, I don't know, I'm really enjoying this. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about episode 3 of Skeleton Crew, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.